Hi everyone, this is Sarah at the Catholic Homemaker. Today I want to share with you the reasoning of how I became involved with so many MLMs, 11 to be exact, and actually one of those I joined on 2 different occasions, but that is technically still 11 MLMs total. So what was my aha moment? What was my light bulb moment? And this was actually inspired by one of my viewers, so thank you for that. And the answer to that is kind of complicated. I didn't have just one light bulb moment. I had a number of light bulb moments throughout the times I was involved with them. And then there were times or outside forces that kind of brought me back from those light bulb moments. And so I'm going to explain to you what those were. The first one I ever got involved with, as I talked in my first video, was Avon, and I didn't really do a whole lot with that, and back then I had no idea what an MLM was. I knew it was direct selling Avon, and I just, I didn't really want to do it because I never was really crazy about doing sales. I never liked asking people for money, but I was really into debt right after leaving college with my student loans starting up and being on my own. And so it was really scary. And I just thought there was a way for me to make a little bit of extra cash to pay it down while having my full-time job. And the reality was I just really did not like asking people or telling people I was selling something. I was like, this is really not for me. There were a couple people who bought from me who were actually interested because Avon was like very well known, and it still is very well known to most people. But I just really didn't like it. So I just kind of stopped after a while selling, and I don't think I truly made any money from it. I don't even have bank statements going back that far, so I have no idea for sure, but I'm pretty sure I didn't actually make a profit if you count in what money I spent on my own makeup, which wasn't very much, but so thankfully I probably didn't lose that much from it. So my light bulb moment with that was that I just really didn't like doing that. I was like, okay, I'm probably never going to do, or I said, I'm never going to do something like this again. I'm just going to continue on with my career. And then a few years later, I got a friend talk me into joining doTERRA. And I've talked about this before in another video, but my light bulb moment with doTERRA was when I started finding out about the harms about ingesting essential oils. And I was like, oh, this is a really bad idea. It can harm you. It can hurt your mucous membranes. It can act like an antibiotic in your body. And most people who are interested in doTERRA or Young Living essential oils, they're doing it because they're interested in a more healthy lifestyle or natural living. And people trying to live that way are also trying to avoid antibiotics for the most part, if they can. And so when I heard about it acting like an antibiotic in my body, I'm like, this cannot be good at all. And so I stepped back from that. And then I also found out from people I had been following online that not only doTERRA, but Young Living, they had found synthetic fragrances in their essential oils. And this was done by like independent third-party lab testing. And I was like, I don't know what to say about that. And the only reason I ever joined doTERRA, I was trying to make income, leave my corporate job. I really hated my job and I wanted something different. I needed something to support myself. And I was sold the dream for it that you can eventually become a millionaire and there's unlimited income potential, but that very rarely happens. And it certainly didn't happen for me. I don't even think I sold an oil to a single person other than myself. And I was spending $100 or maybe hundreds of dollars monthly. And so thankfully I only did that for like several months at the most, and I stopped. And yeah, I completely backed away from those oils after finding out about their synthetic fragrances. And the part that really irks me about doTERRA and Young Living is they both claim to be like the only pure essential oils out there. And thankfully, that is just not the case. There are other companies out there that are high quality essential oils, and they're not nearly as expensive as either one of those companies. So I'm really thankful for that, and I'm sure you guys are too. So that was my light bulb moment with doTERRA. And at that moment, I was like, I'm never joining another MLM. I definitely knew this was an MLM this time. And I was like, yeah, this is the last time I'm going to do something like that. And then fast forward a few years after that, I was married to my husband, and I was looking again for a way to leave the same job that I was at, but I had been there for that long. I didn't want to leave my income at my job because I was making a very good salary there, and I wanted to have at least something for us to fall back on other than just my husband's salary. And this was before we had kids, so I didn't feel the need to leave my job. I really wanted to, but there wasn't a need for or a want for me because of staying home with our kids, which is what I wanted to do, by the way. But anyway, I was looking for a way to leave, and that's when I had started the Institute for Integrative Nutrition to become a certified integrative nutrition health coach, and I got that certification at the beginning of 2017. So this was like a year before that, and I had restarted up my blog that year, and I heard from a blogging group, there was somebody in there who started talking about Beautycounter, and it was this new makeup company that was trying to change the laws across our country with the beauty safety laws, and they were a clean beauty company, and it's really hard to find that out there. So she was telling us about it, and she was just saying, if you want to find out more information, I can send you information about it. And so I said I was interested. A bunch of other people said they were interested too. And then I start to realize what it might be. And I said, is this an MLM? And she said, yes, it is. And I was just kind of disappointed about that. I was like, oh. And she was just saying that, well, it's not really like other MLMs out there that are kind of icky and gross. Like I explained before, that they're changing laws, they're kind of changing the whole beauty industry, and they have clean products that work. And I mean, I can definitely attest to that. Their products are really great, and that's why it was kind of hard for me to walk away from it in the first place. So anyway, the only reason I even considered joining, I was like, okay, I don't want to sell to my family and friends again. I want to just do this for my blog. But my problem was that I was a very small-time blogger. I was just starting up again, so nobody really knew who my name was. And I still kind of am a small-time blogger to this day. But I just really wanted to focus selling it on my blog. And I did believe in the products. I wasn't just trying to pawn off any products to my audience. I just thought, okay, I can just use like an affiliate, like a lot of people do. So that didn't end up working just because my audience was so small, and I had to kind of employ a different strategy. So I heard that my uplines upline. She had actually reached out to like hundreds of bloggers, and that's how she grew her team to be so big. And so I was like, well, that doesn't seem to be very harmful. I think I'd rather do the same thing, because bloggers are always looking for affiliates, for things that they want to share and sell to their audience. And so I started doing the same thing. And one of the people that I reached out to, she told me that she was actually already a Beautycounter rep, but she told me that she had concerns about a couple ingredients in the Beautycounter products, and she was trying to get answers for them. But then she goes on to tell me about some other MLMs that she's involved with that don't have the same concerns. And so she tells me about Crunchy, My Essence, and Juice Plus. Now, Juice Plus wasn't exactly related because that's more of a supplement company. But yeah, she tells me about the other three that she's involved with. And as she's telling me about her concerns, I was concerned because I was more into completely all natural products. And I was like, well, if there's better alternatives to Beautycounter out there, I'd rather promote that to my audience instead of Beautycounter, because I want to maintain my integrity. And so I talked to my husband about these other companies, and of course he was naturally hesitant, but he told me ultimately it's my decision. And so I ended up joining them, and I got pushback not just from him but from my family as well. Like my sister's always been one who's kind of been concerned about me for that, and both her and my husband, and I appreciate that. I just really wish I would have listened to them in the beginning, because then I wouldn't have gone through all this and lost money. So hopefully my story will help one of you who's listening out there, or people that you know. I just really hate to see other people lose money from these things, because as I've said, and as other anti-MLM YouTubers say out there, 99% or more of people who join an MLM lose money. And that is a real shame, because most people who join out there are trying to make extra money. They're not trying to lose money. And some of them are in credit card debt, and some of them go into credit card debt to join these companies. So it's just really awful. Anyway, so I joined those. Crunchy's a makeup company. My Essence, they have superfoods, skincare, hair care, and some makeup, and it's pretty much all certified organic. My Essence, you have to have an auto ship monthly, so I definitely lost money with that from having to buy a certain amount of products every month. And I've mostly worked through all of their products, so at least they didn't go to waste or anything. But they were very expensive. They're from Australia, so you had to get them shipped in from Australia. And it's just not a very well-known company. So it's kind of a hard sell with that. And same with Crunchy. It's not as well-known as even Beautycounter, or especially like nationally known brands that aren't really clean makeup, like L'Oreal or MAC, any of those main brand makeup companies or skincare companies. And then Juice Plus, like all three of these, I thought that they had like decent products, but again, as like I keep saying over and over again, and other people keep saying who are anti-MLM, you end up losing money in these companies if you are a rep, and the products are overpriced. There are so many alternatives out there to a lot of these products that are way cheaper than what these companies are offering. And a lot of times people who buy them, they're just like family and friends who are trying to support their friend or family member and they're almost doing it out of pity sometimes. So that's not really how you truly create a loyal customer, is having somebody buy from you out of pity or just trying to support you a little bit. So back to the main point. The main reason I got sucked into 6 other MLMs is, well, I kept thinking in my head, this one's different than all the other MLMs out there. The truth is, it wasn't. They're all the same. They might have a good product. They might be different in that way, because I was thinking that, like, okay, they're doing something good. They have a decent product. They're not shady. But in the reality, they are kind of shady a little bit, all of them, because all the people at the bottom are losing money. And so you just kind of have to question that. And so the reason I joined any other MLM after doTERRA was because I thought I could just do this differently. I could just not sell it to my family and friends. I could just recommend it to my blog audience. But because my audience was so small, that never ended up working out. And so I ended up having to sell to family and friends, which I wasn't really happy about to begin with. And even so, I didn't end up making a profit with any of these companies. And yeah, I joined 6 other MLMs after Beautycounter under this same person, because she kept on telling me about a new MLM that she found out about. And, you know, after a while, it did kind of get old, and I started to have a bigger light bulb moment. And I remember one particular time. I hadn't joined Prime My Body, which is a CBD oil company, and something shady happened with them. So that's why we both left that company, by the way. She was trying to get me to join Prime My Body, and I happened to have her on speakerphone at home, and my husband overheard the entire conversation. And when I got off the phone with her, he was really upset. He was like, I heard what she was saying to you, and she's just trying to get you to buy all this. She's just taking advantage of you, blah, blah, blah. Like, that woman made me so angry. And I was like, no, you don't know her like I do. Like, I know she sounded that way on the phone just then, but we talk about all these other things. She's a really great person. And he wasn't exactly convinced, but he was just saying, you know, you can do whatever you want. And I just, looking back at that now, I just feel really bad for not listening to him then, because I really should have. And I knew in my gut that she was just trying to get a sale from that, but I just didn't really want to believe that. And I feel bad for not listening to him, for not listening to my family, and for wasting our money. I mean, I feel like we could have used that money for so many other good things, like investing or just saving for whatever for the future, charity, you know. There's no going back, obviously, but hopefully somebody watching this will learn from my hard lesson. So anyway, I joined Prime My Body after that, Canaway, which was the next CBD company, and we found out shady things about them too, so we left them. And then I joined Purium, and Purium had an auto ship type of thing in order for you to get paid. So that was the one where I got the most amount of paychecks over time. And that's why I kept staying with it, because I was like, oh, I'm getting so close to breaking even or becoming a profit. But I was like, okay, this has been going on for way too long, and I still haven't broken even. I was like, I think the final straw for me was when I was watching YouTube videos. Like somehow, I don't know how it was suggested to me, but on YouTube, I started to see these anti-MLM videos pop up. And finally, I got the courage to click on one of them. And then I was kind of hooked. I started watching more and more anti-MLM videos. And I was agreeing with them. And it wasn't the first time I'd ever seen an anti-MLM video. My husband had actually shared John Oliver's anti-MLM show years ago to me. And he's like, see, like, look at all these people. I'm like, I know, those are different. Like, those are really shady companies like Herbalife. But in reality, they're all the same. And I really should have listened to him. I'm so sorry. So yeah, once I started watching these anti-MLM YouTube videos a few months ago, I was like, for my integrity's sake, I have to stop promoting these companies and just leave. And I did it kind of quietly. I didn't want to make like a big scene or drama or anything. I just kind of stopped promoting it. And I'm no longer a Beautycounter rep either. Like, I didn't meet the minimum after 6 months of sales volume, and so I'm no longer a rep with them. With Purium, I guess technically I still probably could be, even though I canceled my auto ship, so I probably need to actually call them to say I no longer want to be affiliated with them. I don't know, that seems like a big hassle to me, but I might have to do it. I also want to share one more thing before I go. So when I had that light bulb moment after watching all those YouTube videos, I was kind of internally reflecting about it all. And one night my husband came into our room and I told him I had to tell him something, and I think he was like kind of scared, like, what is she going to tell me? And I was just saying, like, I'm really sorry for joining all these MLM companies. And I was like, why, like, how could you let me do all these things? And like, why didn't you just tell me no? And he's like, well, because I love you and because I had to let you make your own decisions and, you know, make your own mistakes. I mean, unfortunately, that's like a hard lesson to learn, but I guess he had done what he thought was enough to tell me without pushing me too far. And eventually I came to see the truth like him, but I still feel really bad and guilty for not just listening to his advice in the first place. So I hope you guys have found this video to be helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell to know when I post. I'd love to hear what your experiences are in the comments too, and please share this video with anyone you think it may be helpful to. If there's somebody about to join an MLM that you know you're close to, maybe it will help them. So until next time, bye.